welcome to another edition of Focus with Tim Thomas. I am your host, Tim Thomas, and we're certainly glad you have joined us for this very special edition of our program. We're coming to you from downtown Madisonville in the Mayor's Conference Room, which is located in City Hall, and we want to give special thanks to Mayor Kevin Cotton for opening his doors, for allowing us to come in. And one special reason why we are here in City Hall today is because we have a very, very special guest with us, none other than Miss Skylers Background, and she is the Director of Public Relations and Customer Service for the City of Madisonville. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you, and let me thank you for how much you have worked with us since the new administration has started. You have been such a big help.
Oh, thanks. It's actually been a pleasure. I mean, not only with the new administration, but with everybody within the community reaching out and just really wanting to be more involved. It's been wonderful.
Right. Skyler, you're no stranger to our community and have served in several areas. Tell us a little bit about your job overall here at the City of Madisonville.
Well, so I was born and raised in Madisonville. I left to go to college at Western, and I had a job in Lexington afterwards. I went back to Bowling Green for a little bit, and I finally found my way home. I've always been interested in nonprofit work, so this was kind of a great tie-in that not only let me do things for causes, whereas I work for the government, a lot of the things that I'm able to do is able to benefit nonprofits throughout the community, whether it's United Way or Family Resource Centers or so on and so forth. And so this job just really opened the door to let me give back to the community that helps shape who I am.
Well, great, and not an easy job because a lot going on.
It is a lot of moving pieces, but I've found that I'm happiest in jobs that keep me busy and that constantly just change from day to day and keep me on my toes. It helps to, expand your skill set a little bit, but it also makes sure that you never have a boring day at the job.
Yeah, and I would think too, when you're dealing with so many people, different personalities, it takes a special person to be able to do that, to handle customer service.
Yeah, and I was a little afraid of it at first. Customer service is a very daunting task, but once you start doing it really and interacting not only with the community, but especially with the people here who make up our city team, it was a good fit. And it was just so much smoother of a transition than I had ever anticipated.
Well, that brings me to what we're here to really talk about too as well, and that is the upcoming summer events here in Madisonville that has been shaping up, I see, and really coming together. Who are your performers of this year's events when we talk about Friday Night Live, which is coming up shortly?
Yeah, our first Friday Night Live is on June 14th. That show actually we start on the West End, and so that is The Extraordinary Gentleman featuring Alonzo Pennington. And then on our main stage, we have a band from Owensboro that's going to be our opener, and it's the Green River Drifters. And then our main acts are actually co-headliners for this. So it's Joe Nichols and Tracy Lawrence. So we're really excited. My 90s girl country heart couldn't be any happier. And so then we have about a 2-week period and we go straight into Fourth Fest. And so this year we've really expanded our Fourth Fest show. And for the actual 4th of July and our fireworks celebration, it'll be the Charlie Daniels Band. And opening for them is Andy Brasher and Kyle Daniel. Then if you go over to July 6th, which is that Saturday, it's our Praise in the Park event. And so our big headliner is for King and Country. Then about 2 more weeks, we have our second Friday Night Live. And so our opener on the main stage is the Cameron Tabor Band. And then they're opening for Grand Funk Railroad. And then our last Friday Night Live is August 2nd. And so we're actually having Sister Sledge and the Gap Band for that, and we're really excited. Wow,
what a great lineup,
Yeah, it's been a lot, I didn't, going into this, have any idea how difficult it would be, not only to book these artists, but to, negotiate some of the contracts and really just work it from bottom to top and get everything in line. But throughout working with all these, the managers for these tours have been fantastic, and they are all promising us the biggest shows that we've ever seen.
Wonderful, wonderful. Your first Friday Night Live is coming up. What is the date for that?
June 14th.
Which is right around the corner.
Yes, and it is in downtown. This one is actually a little bit different. It's a whole event dedicated to veterans. So what we've done is, typically in the past, this has been related to the Big Blue Run, and this year it's actually the Veterans 5K. So it'll be a double lap downtown. If you want to run, you could also walk a lap if you just wanted to, walk to honor those. And so all of the money raised from that 5K will be split 3 ways. So it'll go to the American Legion, the VFW, and the Veterans Center in Hanson. Then following that, we are going to go on the main stage and have our Hometown Heroes big shebang. So
wow.
It'll be everything from the singing of the national anthem to the presentation of the colors to an benediction to then we're going to announce all 51 of our hometown heroes and unveil all of the banners that show them individually. And then following that, the live music will start and the concert will get on its way.
What a great program set up to salute veterans.
We're really excited. We've done a lot of smaller things that we've never done before because we wanted to kind of make this more of an overall experience and not just something that you happen to walk into. One of my favorite pieces of this is going to be called the Fallen Soldier Wall. And so what it is it's a big piece of corkboard, and it'll be a big backdrop, and there we'll have pieces of red index card and Sharpies available, and so you can write names of active duty veterans or active duty military or veterans and post those on the wall. You can bring pictures, and we'll have all of the push pins available. And what that'll do is not only raise awareness to those that have served, but to help our community see how many people around them have really sacrificed all that they can to serve us and to serve our country. And then towards the end of the night, the prayer center is actually going to do a prayer over that entire board and bless them, and just try to give different ways for the community to come in and actually be interactive with the events rather than just kind of stand there and
just mingle. And what it is, and it brings an inclusiveness for the whole community.
And then we are going back to a beer garden. We've had mixed reviews about that.
No pun intended.
But this year going back to the beer garden's actually been a blessing in disguise. What is going to happen is we'll have a table at the front, and so they will ID you, and if you're above 21 and you have your ID, you'll get a bracelet. It's just like any other restaurant in town. You can take your kids in there if that's what you want. That's your prerogative. But once you get inside, we'll have tables and chairs and a photo booth set up. We'll have a cornhole tournament. We'll have a hoop shoot. We'll have all sorts of new activities in there that kind of make it a more fun environment. And then we're also introducing new vendors. So we have our normal vendors of Crowded House and wings, etc. But then we're bringing in West 6 Brewery from Lexington. We're bringing in Casey Jones Distillery from Hopkinsville and Hopkinsville Brewing. And so with it going back to a beer garden, not only are we able to do beer and wine, but now we can do mixed drinks as well. So that's something that we've not been able to do in the past.
Right, and where is it going to be located?
So the actual layout of the entire event has changed. And so what we're going to do is the beer garden will take place from the police department parking lot all the way through Fub Plaza. So, you have the main stage, and then this week we have paved in front of it so that it is more handicap accessible. And so all of that will be barricaded off, but it'll be a very big area. And then so we've actually moved the main stage. So the main stage will now be brought in, and it'll be more in front of the fire department and kind of catty-cornered towards the county clerk's office.
Okay, great. It's going to give you a lot more room, a lot more space for people to see the entertainment as well.
Yeah. I have never read through one of these 30-page contracts before this year, and so one of the things that is listed in there are stage requirements, and so each artist has a specific stage area that they have to have for their show. And Fub Plaza, while it's beautiful and great and we're so blessed to have it in our community, it did not fit the requirements for any of the acts this year. So what we're doing is we're renting a stage that'll actually come in on a semi. And so that'll be set up, and we had to have a larger area for it. It is huge.
Wow.
It reminds me a little bit of the stage that we brought in for Bacon and Blues last year. But these shows are all going to be a full-blown production. So it'll be great. It'll just be different.
Yeah, that's exciting, and something new is always whets the appetite of your community when you bring in new things. So that's really good.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, the only other thing that we're changing drastically is the kids zone, and I'd say 90% of my friends have children, and so they always bring their kids to Friday Night Live, and the first thing that your kid wants to do is run towards the inflatables. And that's great until the line gets so long that you spend more time waiting than your kid can spend jumping in a bouncy house. And so what we've decided to do is expand that area. So we're going to go from having 2 inflatables last year to our first one we'll have 6. I know that we'll have 2 obstacle courses and 2 different bouncy houses. We'll have some standing games, we'll have a football toss, and we'll have another hoop shoot and things like that, Jenga. And then we're also going to have a big 10 by 30 tent, and that will have all-inclusive activities for any children that might have disabilities or any kids who might be too young to be able to get on a bouncy house, so that there's really something for everybody to do and that we're not just catering to a select few.
Skylar, how many are you expecting? Do you have any idea?
Well, hopes are that, in the past, our attendance has fluctuated a lot. So we've gone from having several thousand to a couple hundred. We're really hoping that with all these expansions and changes that we're going to up the attendance again and get back into the several thousands. Our goal is to have between 5 to 7 at the first Friday Night Live. And then hopefully, attendance won't be an issue. But if it's too crowded, then we'll look at expanding even more next year.
Wow, well, that would be a good problem to have.
I would be very okay with that problem.
Right. Who are your sponsors for this year's?
Our platinum sponsor is the Hopkins County Tourist Commission, and then we started this new program this year where we allowed for community partners. And so we have 3 silver sponsors. It's Baptist Health, First United Bank, and Independence Bank. And then we have some bronze sponsors, which are Riddle Insurance, Old National Bank, Olivia Event Planning, and Ideal Market, and then an honorary mention sponsor for Hancock Bank.
Great. So you got quite a few sponsors that are coming on this year.
Yeah. One of the things that we had heard some resistance to in the past was whenever we do events, we only really had one main sponsor, and it was always the same ones over and over again, so that there wasn't really a fair chance for businesses throughout the community to sponsor these events. So what we did was open up a tiered level sponsorship package to where not only are you a sponsor for Friday Night Live, you're a sponsor for every single event throughout the entire year. So Fourth Fest, Kidapalooza, Christmas in Mad City, every single thing is something that your business is marketed at and very highly visible. And so we had a great turnout from that, and so we're really just hoping to show them how much we appreciate it throughout these events whenever they start to see their logos and all of their employees, just really getting some special treatment. Yeah.
How long does it take to plan just one single event?
Well, we started later than we would have liked. Typically, the planning process starts in the fall of the year before. We were a little behind the ball this year, so we didn't start until February.
Wow.
Yeah, and So, we ran into several problems on artists who had already been booked for the dates that we wanted,
Right.
or, their prices have gone up because now they're trying to hit shows that are in between things that were already routed. And so our hands were kind of tied in several ways that we hadn't expected. And I had no idea how expensive somebody who hadn't put out an album since 1990 would be, but it was quite a lot. And so after about a month, I think around mid-March, we had everything fully booked for our main performers. Since then, we've worked day in and day out to schedule everything else, whether it's the sound and production, bringing in the stage, recruiting vendors, booking tables and chairs. We've had so much help from all of our internal departments. We've started with bi-monthly meetings beforehand so that all of our department heads and their staff are on the same page about what is needed from their department, because while we're here and everybody knows that we're part of it, you don't see all of the people behind the scenes that help to make it run really smoothly. From our transportation and sanitation department to our electric department that had to put in an entirely new system because I flipped the layout. And that was a surprise to them. So to all of the other departments who give us some of their employees the day of the event so that they can help me with setup and tear down and everything in between. So
and you're really right. Our city employees do not get thank you enough.
They
for
really
their
don't.
Extraordinary work.
And they go above and beyond. Our public works guys were out here yesterday hanging bunting all around City Hall because that was a vision that I had, because I wanted all of downtown to try to be, red, white, and blue, to show all of the veterans that are coming in for the Hometown Heroes induction, or all of the ones that are coming in from Fort Campbell, or just the people who are touring through our community for this event, how much we love our veterans. And so, just yesterday, we were expecting rain. It's hot and muggy, and they're just out there working their fingers to the bone trying to make this vision come true. And that's not a one-off, that's just how they are every single day.
Yeah, that means a lot. And when you have good morale as well, that helps in your everyday production of getting work done in the city. Yeah,
our new administration has been really fantastic in allowing all the employees, and not just department heads, but the actual employees that go out and do your everyday jobs, to really come to understand how appreciated they are. This is the first mayor that I have ever seen that will go out to these departments and work. He has gone to everything from wastewater treatment, which is something I don't think I ever want to do, to helping pour the bonded rubber mat at Cherry Park. And I've talked to several of these employees every day, but they're just excited to see an administration who wants to get a better understanding of what they do, so that they can better relate to all of our employees. And it's just been a really welcome change, and I think has our morale at the city higher than it's ever been.
Yeah, and that's needed. And kudos, to the mayor and to others that are doing the groundwork.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, it's nice to have a foundation that is starting to be built to where the employees see how important they are. And it's not just, for their work, but it's for who they are and what they do in and out of work.
Right. So, Skyler, there's a lot of work that has been planned for these events. And what else, just in your mind's eye, that you would like to see be going on, maybe that has not been done, that you would like to bring into fruition to the city?
Oh, gosh, there are so many plans that we have. For our city administrator, Robert, I gave him about a 4-page list the other day of things that I want to do. But I just have to be mindful of budget and time. And so while that list is continuing to grow,
give us one idea.
A few of the things is, so, part of what I think helps me with this job is that I've lived in different communities, and so I've kind of gotten to see what works in some bigger cities, but that doesn't mean that we can't implement it here. And so what we really want to do is start highlighting some local businesses in positive ways, and just simple things that don't even cost money but can help to drive up their sales. Is, we want to start looking at doing a restaurant week where it spotlights specific businesses, and we could do them more than once a year. We're looking at potentially hosting our own disc golf tournaments. We're looking at really expanding our park system and starting a lot more stuff in that. There's a lot of new programs that I want to implement. I know that they're talking about some initiatives to help all of the business owners downtown who need to upgrade some of their, whether it's their facades or their awnings or that sort of things, kind of matching the money to allow that to be a more feasible option. We're trying to really just think outside of the box and see, even just through grants, what kind of funding we can get to make these ideas able to be implemented sooner rather than later.
Right. When we talk about downtown Madisonville, there's been talk about the floral designs, that type of thing that you're still keeping going. It really adds to the city.
Yeah. In the past we've been part of America in Bloom, and while the initiative behind that is wonderful, what we thought about is, instead of using the money to pay for that membership, we want to use that money to reinvest directly back into our downtown area. So instead of paying for that membership and having some judges come in, we're able to add a few more floral displays. We're able to completely redo some of the landscaping in front of Fub Plaza. We're able to start looking at our medians and to really kind of get some stuff that has longevity behind it and that is more easily maintained throughout the community, but that is still adding to the overall aesthetic of everything downtown.
Right. And wouldn't you agree that when you see a flourishing and blooming downtown, it really helps the psyche of your community?
If you just think about the businesses who have floral boxes or potted plants or things outside, those just look inviting. And so when we can do that throughout our downtown, whether it's on our lampposts or in our flower beds, it just makes the entire downtown more inviting, and it makes it seem more homey. You just feel more at home when everything is prettier. And that's maybe not the best way to put it, but when everything is in bloom and green and lush, you just feel more like you want to get out there and be a part of something. And so I think that it's helpful.
That's wonderful. And we want to put on the screen all of the dates and times of the Friday Night Lives, and we encourage you to attend those, bring your family and friends, and have a good time in what is still the best town on earth.
Absolutely.
Madisonville, Kentucky. I think you will definitely enjoy the lineup that is planned, and be a part of all the concerts that are going to be taking place.
Yeah.
A new look, new shows, a new look, a new environment, and we're just excited.
Yeah.
We're excited. So we want to encourage you to be a part of that and be a part of what is taking place in the city of Madisonville. Skylar, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
For coming and being on our program, and we want to thank the city of Madisonville as well as First United Bank for sponsoring this program, and we're in our 20th year of public service programming, and we're excited about the upcoming year, and we're definitely at your service. Call us anytime, as you well know, and we hope to be a part of this in a lot of ways. We hope to even bring our cameras down, hopefully doing some of these Friday Night Lives, and be able to carry them on our program and let people see
that would be
some
great.
of the exciting things that are taking place. Any last things you want to leave with us?
Just come and enjoy the show. We hope to have you there, and we hope to show you guys that we are still the best town on earth.
All right. We've been speaking with Ms. Skylar Falk, who is the, let me get this right, Director of Public Relations and Customer Service for the city of Madisonville, Kentucky. Join us for another edition of our program. I'm your host, Tim Thomas, and by all means, keep sharing the dream.